In the town of Eldritch Hollow, an oppressive fog rolled in like restless shadows, shrouding the mundane world in a thick veil of dampness. The air itself thickened with a simmering tension, melding with the scent of decaying leaves and distant, forgotten memories. The streetlights flickered like candles struggling against an unseen draft, casting elongated shadows that whispered secrets untold. Residents, once joyful in their routines, now shuffled about with hollow expressions, as if the fog bore witness to buried fears. Walter Gibbons was a postman, a mundane occupation in a place where life seemed to perpetually tread a monotonous rhythm. Yet for Walter, the monotony had soured over the weeks since the fog first descended. He noted the ever-widening cracks in the town's facade. The once cheerful laughter of children had become rare, and even the birds that sang at dawn now fell silent, their songs choked by the heaviness of the atmosphere. Walter had dismissed the chill creeping into his bones as winters advanced, but it felt more invasive, more primal. A low hum pulsed just beneath the surface, murmuring things he dared not articulate.
On his deliveries, he began to observe the subtle changes: mailboxes neglected, homes shuttered like sunken ships.
Oddly shaped footprints appeared in the moist earth, leading to the forest that loomed at the town's edge. Once a sanctuary of adventure, the woods had grown foreboding, whispering with ancient secrets and promises better left unkept. He noticed how the trees bent as if in abject homage to something unseen, their gnarled limbs forming grotesque figures that danced with the wind, beckoning him closer. As weeks bled into one another, Walter grew increasingly anxious. He found himself waking at odd hours, midnight chimes throbbing in his temples, the shadows of his dreams gnawing at his sanity. Shapes loomed just beyond the veil of sleep, features indistinct yet compelling, eyes like bottomless pits absorbing the flicker of his spirit. Fragments of conversation echoed in his mind, descriptions of impossible geometries and whispers of entities whose very existence defied reason. A creeping dread settled in his chest, as if he were being drawn toward a destiny he could neither comprehend nor escape. Then came the night of the blighted moon. It hung low in the sky, a sallow orb casting an unnatural light that drained color from the world. Walter, compelled by some unfathomable impulse, ventured into the woods, lighted in air yet shackled by an overwhelming gravity. The forest seemed alive, branches curling like fingers, as if sensing his intrusion. As he wandered deeper, a cacophony rose in unearthly resonance that felt like a pulse, like the beating heart of something ancient and abominable. Suddenly, an iridescent glow pierced the darkness ahead. Walter stumbled into a clearing, where the ethereal luminescence coalesced into a monstrous form, a twisting mass of tendrils and shifting shapes that defied his understanding. It bore down on him, exuding an aura that shimmered with unfathomable knowledge, and yet there was a malevolence embedded in its beauty. The air hummed, vibrating with an alien language, a symphony of dread and allure. Walter's mind splintered. He grappled with the reality of its presence, the undeniable awareness that he stood before a being birthed from the cosmos, a creature beyond human comprehension, embodying chaos itself. The truth of existence unspooled in a revelation that both enlightened and destroyed. Patterns danced in his head, a revelation illuminated by the horrors he could barely begin to grasp. In that moment, the lines of his sanity blurred. Walter felt his thoughts unraveling, drifting into the void of the creature's gaze. Was he invited, a mere observer, or ensnared in its grip, a pawn in a cosmic game? Desperation clawed at him as the world dissolved into a fevered dream, the mundane horrors of life succumbing to the splendor and terror of the unknown. As the dawn approached, Walter stumbled back, retreating through the forest no longer with physical footing. Shadows slipped around him like darkened waters, even as the rise of the sun painted the sky with tentative hues. He returned to Eldritch Hollow as if a wanderer from the brink of insanity, the fog clinging to him like a shroud. Days passed, yet the echoes of the encounter lingered. An unsettling grin crept into the townsfolk's faces, their eyes lit with a recognition of cosmic truths that shattered the very fabric of their reality. They had succumbed, embraced the whispering shadows, turned to the alien presence that thrived in the depths of the forest. Walter stood alone on his front porch, intrigued yet horrified by the transformation of those around him, sensing the thread that bound them to the creature. They spoke less, moving with a deliberate rhythm as if orchestrating their own harmony with the malevolent entity. His heart sank into despair. He was still tethered to his humanity, yet grotesque beauty twinkled in the eyes of his neighbors like distant stars. The gulf yawned wider, a chasm filled with the unfathomable. The fog thickened, now a palpable entity of its own. Walter gazed into the distance as the town faded into a silhouette, merging with rising shadows. The forest beckoned him once more, whispering secrets only it could understand. Answering his call felt like surrender, a descent into a cosmic awakening fraught with terror and immortality. And as the sun dipped beyond the horizon, Walter Gibbons felt his grip loosen on reality, entranced by the undulating light of the unseen and the unspeakable. The truth loomed, an open wound in the fabric of existence, drawing him into darkness, where the familiar became alien and time stood still, a moment carved into eternity. For the fog had given birth to something far worse than madness. It had carved an entryway into the depths of cosmic horror, one that could never truly be closed. Walter was home, yet utterly lost in Eldritch Hollow.